that more than 5 out of 7 new homes will go to immigrants?
Well, that's not the truth, and that's not the
That's
case.
what will happen.
Well, that's not the reality, because we've,
Well, where
in
the
particular, in
2.5 million immigrants that are in Rachel Reeve's budget figures going to turn out? Where are they going to live?
Well, there's plenty of housing in the UK, but the houses, especially social
hang on.
affordable
You
homes
can't, on the one hand, say
building.
we've got to build this 1.5 million houses, and then say there's plenty of housing already.
There is plenty of housing, Trevor, already, but there's not enough for the people that desperately need it. So the homes, especially under our affordable homes programme, which is social and affordable housing, they will be there for people who desperately need them, local people. We've already outlined how we're going to support veterans and people who are fleeing domestic violence.
Okay.
Jeremy Clarkson is not afraid to openly express his emotions about the Labour Party's housing proposals, and his latest attacks on Angela Rayner only confirm this. His anger is focused on one glaring point. Labour's plan to build 1.5 million new homes doesn't just look unrealistic, it's complete madness. He doesn't just question the numbers, he furiously criticises the very essence of this approach. Clarkson believes that the party does not understand at all how serious the housing crisis is, which is becoming more threatening every day. But what really pisses him off? This is a shocking announcement that 5 out of 7 new homes will be given to immigrants. How can you approach such an important issue so irresponsibly?
You have committed as a pledge to build 1.5 million new homes during this Parliament. You are also the Housing Secretary,
yes,
as well as the Deputy Prime Minister.
By the way, 1.5 million homes that anyone who knows anything about construction knows it's impossible. But wait.
Almost every single Labour council in England that the BBC has spoken to says that those housing targets are either impossible to achieve or they're unrealistic, or both.
Unrealistic, impossible to achieve, or both. Listen to the response. Classic Labour.
Are they wrong?
Well, we set out with the National Planning Policy Framework around mandatory targets. They
Brilliant.
were set on a rule which was around affordability, and we believe that they can deliver them.
We believe that they can deliver them.
Rayner, of course, vehemently denies these figures, claiming that they are simply incorrect. But here's the catch: these data were not given out by some outside critic, but taken directly from the proposals of the Labour Party itself. So why does she call them inaccurate? This raises serious doubts and perplexity. Clarkson furiously argues that the reaction of the Labour Party is not aimed at correcting the facts, but at evading responsibility. When a prominent figure like Rayner refuses to acknowledge the obvious facts, people have deep doubts that they really understand the whole picture. Clarkson clearly believes that Labour is not capable of offering a solution that would suit everyone. And when Rayner claims that these figures are incorrect, a reasonable question arises: who is actually telling the truth about the future of housing construction in the UK? The deeper you delve into the details, the more they contradict each other, creating chaos and confusion. While many are perplexed to note that in conditions of austerity, Rayner should be at work, not having fun on the dance floor. This is simply absurd.
It gets better. Wait.
With local plans, we're working with local councils and mayors to look at how we can deliver the homes that we
But almost every, we've spoken to almost every Labour council, including Tameside,
her constituency,
and they have said they are unrealistic and unachievable. So are you going to force their hand?
The entire construction industry, anyone who works in or has worked in construction or housing, planning, anything like that, knows this target is impossible. Councils say it's impossible. The building industry says it's impossible. What's Labour's solution?
To meet those targets?
We are saying that they're mandatory targets and we want mandatory plans. So we're telling them this is what we expect and we'll work with them to deliver it.
Angela Rayner's recent interview turned into a real disaster, which was clearly not part of her plans. This event quickly became a failure, clearly demonstrating her complete unpreparedness and lack of understanding of the pressing problems facing the UK. The interview touched on the crucial issues of housing, immigration and their interrelationships, and when Rayner was asked about the government's approach to combating homelessness, she seemed completely confused. Her answers contained evasive phrases and an obvious reluctance to face the problem directly. Although many of these homes are designed to help the most vulnerable, Rayner tried to dodge the discussion by denying that housing distribution is happening the way critics claim. But these accusations are not just media noise, they are directly related to Labour's plans and call into question its ability to solve the real problems of society.
To remind you that you have said yourselves as a government we're going to need 2.5 million migrants. Some of them, by the way, people are going to build the houses. Suddenly, there's a lot of housing. Where are these people going to go?
Well, Trevor, first of all, when you say about building as well, the previous government did use migrant labour far too much instead of actually building skills here in the UK. I've announced £140 million for new construction hubs so that we can train people here to deliver those housing. So I don't accept that we're going to bring migrants in for that. We've always said that actually we need to skill our own people up. But equally, we need to build the homes that people need. Nobody's had a focus on social housing for a generation, and I'm going to build those homes because far too many people at the moment are waiting on council housing lists, and I've got to fix that.
I really wish...
The situation becomes truly alarming when you look at the numbers. Since Labour came to power, the number of new immigrants in the UK has increased by a shocking 20,000 people. In addition to the already catastrophic housing shortage, it is becoming increasingly difficult for the average Briton to get the help they need. Due to Rayner's inability to adequately deal with this growing problem, she does not look like a leader, but like a person who is completely unaware of the seriousness of the situation. At one point, she even dismissed the accusations as erroneous, without providing any concrete evidence or solutions. Public discontent has become obvious and is growing every day. Critics, including Clarkson, argue that this only confirms that Labour does not understand the real state of affairs. They were unable to cope with the housing crisis and now cannot openly discuss its true causes. Rayner's speech was not just an unsuccessful interview, it was a wake-up call that Labour is desperately looking for answers, but cannot find them. And this is exactly what Clarkson emphasized when he said that the party had no idea what it was doing.
If I have a pig and I butcher it, or slaughter it and butcher it, and turn it into a sausage, that sausage will cost here 74p. If I buy imported pig meat, make it into a sausage, it's 18p.
Yeah, that is amazing.
Something's wrong with our food system in this country. My pig reared on my farm, by the time it gets here, it's got a cost of 74p. An imported sausage, 18p.
So what's your message to the new government? Do you think they get the kind of rural economy at all?
No, I don't think any of them have set foot outside Kentish Town for the last 35 years. No, they're a hopeless bunch.
So would you invite Keir to your pub, Keir Starmer, Prime Minister?
No, he's banned. He's the first person to be banned. He's actually on a board in the halls. He's banned.
Why? What have you got against him?
Hello? I thought you were running a news operation. He hasn't done much to endear himself to me yet. Well, we'll have a look at farming. Bill might turn around, you never know.
Angela Rayner's comments about housing construction last week only added fuel to the fire, and it was just shocking, especially when she managed to contradict herself on live TV. On the one hand, she claims that there is already enough housing in the UK, but immediately insists on the need to build 1.5 million new homes. This raises a lot of questions, and they are absolutely fair. If there is enough housing already, why build even more? Rayner struggled to find a convincing answer, but the contradictions were obvious to everyone. If the housing stock is sufficient, why not focus on making effective use of existing homes?
Party opposite.
You're just reading. You're supposed to be answering the questions.
They are the questions.
They're written for you to read.
No, they're the bits I've written, actually, in regards to her questions.
Why is there such an urgent need to build 1.5 million new homes when homelessness remains a serious and painful problem? Rayner's answers were a confusing mix of jargon and excuses, and when asked to clarify, she just seemed confused. She did not give any clear arguments in favor of why there should be a massive increase in the cost of housing, when, according to her, there is enough of it already. This complete lack of clarity gave the impression that she had not fully thought through the party's own housing strategy. And when a politician cannot clearly explain his own plan, it raises serious doubts about his reliability and jeopardizes the credibility of his leader.
Angela has my full support and my full confidence today and every day as we work together to take the Labour Party back into government so we can serve the interests of working people. And she's vital for that.
It's easy to see why critics, including Clarkson, are so insistent on pointing out the flaws in Labour's approach. Society craves common sense from politicians, especially in such vital issues as housing, which concern each of us. When Rayner began to sound uncertain and confused, it was a wake-up call that the Labour Party might not be coping with this critical issue. Many began to think that she had fallen into a trap from which there was no way out. If the housing situation is really so terrible, then why does the government continue to insist on building new homes on such a scale? Keir Starmer's support for Angela Rayner, even after her disastrous interview, speaks to his leadership qualities, but at the same time it is puzzling. Despite the growing criticism and discontent of the public, Starmer continues to stand by her side without hesitation. He argues that Rayner is the ideal deputy leader of the Labour Party, and that she is doing a great job in her role. But in the current political climate, such loyalty, although it looks noble, seems completely inappropriate. What do you think about it? Share your thoughts in the comments. See you.